Hello everyone, I am Jonathan Little for PokerCoaching.com, and today I'm going to be going through a hand that I just played about an hour ago in the $1,000 buy-in Party Poker mini-main event with about 40 people out of 1,000 remaining. Stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to be giving you a chance to win 1% of all of my action at Party Poker UK 2020. It's happening right now. Spoiler alert, we're already in the money, so someone is going to be in the money with me. So let's take a look at this hand. If my note-taking notation is new to you, check out jonathanlittlepoker.com/notes. This is how I write down all of my hands in my phone so that I can easily recall them for you. So we have pocket aces playing 12 million chips deep with a 500,000 big blind, and I am in the cutoff. Okay. Tight aggressive player with a million, or makes it 1 million from second position. He has about as many chips as I have, maybe a tiny bit less. I call, small blind calls, and big blind calls. And this decision point right here, where I call, made a lot of people on Instagram and Twitter say, why in the world would you just call with aces? And, well, there are a few reasons. First, you don't really have a problem getting your money in with pocket aces post-flop whenever you're playing only 25 big blinds deep, right? You can easily get it all in. Because if they just bet the flop, bet the turn, and bet the river, all the money's in. So we don't need a 3-bet to build the pot, right? So that's good. Next, two of the players yet to act also had about 25 big blinds. So I really want to call and give them every opportunity to go all in. Because if the tight aggressive player raises and I 3-bet, now they're just going to fold everything, right? So by calling, I give them the chance to go all in. Also, if I call, sometimes people yet to act will call. Now, you may say, isn't that bad? Don't you want to get them to fold? But no! When you're playing 25 big blinds deep, you want people calling with hands that are in bad shape. You want to play the pot, right? I think a lot of people get in their minds, oh, I have aces. I really don't want to get outdrawn here with 40 people remaining out of 1,000, right? And it's just not good logic. You have to be willing to take risks in order to get a hold of some chips and win the tournament. And at this point in the tournament, by the way, average chips was about 25 million, so it's not like I'm in great shape, right? So anyway, I called, small blind called, and big blind called, and this is a spot as well where a lot of people said, oh, no, isn't this bad? Like, no. I mean, yeah, I'm going to lose sometimes, but that's okay. Sometimes you're going to lose, right? And also realize it's only bad whenever the board runs out really, really coordinated. And even then, I can figure out, hey, I might be in bad shape and I actually need to get out of the way. Like, let's say it comes 9-8-7, all diamonds, and I have no diamonds, and the initial raiser bets, I may actually just fold it immediately. I know it sounds a little bit nitty, but with two players yet to act on 9-8-7 of diamonds, if I don't have the ace of diamonds, it's actually probably a fine spot to fold against a bet, assuming the opponent's competent, which he seemed to be, right? One other big side benefit of flat calling in my scenario is that you actually get to call with more hands. And especially in relatively soft buy-in, or soft, small to medium buy-in live tournaments, I really like flat calling and seeing flops in position with hands like 9-8 suited, pocket sixes, right? These are all hands that you don't necessarily want to be 3-betting and getting in, but they flat pretty well, and then you can play in position, right? And if you only flat call with those hands pre-flop, what's going to happen is the blinds then have, or the people yet to act just have really easy shoves because they know I'm not going to call their all in very often at all, right? If my hands are all marginal. So anyway, we all call, flop comes 10-4-2. Notice this is a fine scenario. Sure, sometimes I'm going to be against like pocket 4s or 2s from the blinds, whatever, right? Second position bets 2 million. I just called. This is another spot where people online said, why would you just call here? Why wouldn't you raise? Aren't you just worried about getting outdrawn? But like, by what? By ace-5? By ace-3? Right? I mean, there's really not a whole lot to worry about. If the board was more coordinated, say it was 10-9-3, I probably would go ahead and jam. Because then I do have to worry about all sorts of random gut shot, straight draws, open-ended straight draws, stuff like that. But even then, I think flatting would probably be acceptable, right? So anyway, I'm a pretty big fan of, and like, I don't want to make it sound like I'm just purely slow playing here because I think slow playing's fun. This is just good poker. So anyway, I called, other people folded. In my note-taking system, if they're not listed anymore, it means they're gone. Turns to 2, opponent goes all in, clearly I call. He has king 10 offsuit, and I win. Notice here, if I just 3-bet pre-flop, what would have happened? Well, everybody would have folded, and I would have won 1.5, or like 2 million chips or something like that. Instead, we end up getting a full double up for 12 in a scenario where our opponent was pretty dead. You may say, well, this sounds super exploitative. Well, let's see what GTO Strategy is. GTO Strategy has us 3-betting with aces about half the time and flatting it about half the time. You may say, why is it flatting with aces? Because again, flatting with just a little bit of nut hands like aces, ace-queen suited, ace-jack suited, ace-queen offsuit, hands that can actually call if someone yet to act jams. Same thing with queens, jacks, tens, nines, right? These hands can all call pre-flop and then call off against a shove. And that allows you to flat with a wider range of these like suited connected type hands, right? That flop really well. Remember how I listed like 10-9 suited, jack 10 suited, pocket sixes. All these hands really want to flat call pre-flop and see the flop. And that's going to work out pretty well. Notice that we do have a tiny all-in strategy. I would probably just not use an all-in strategy. Whenever you see a chart that looks like this and one of the 4 frequencies is really tiny, it's probably best just to lump that in with the other ones. So right here, like I would not jam it all in for 25 big blinds, I don't think. And instead, I would use a small 3-bet, but whatever. You can certainly jam your ace-king, queen-jack suited, pocket tens and jacks sometimes, whatever. But anyway, I do want to show you here that the just like straight pure GTO strategy, not accounting for a tournament scenario, does have some calling. And in tournaments especially, you actually want to minimize the chances of playing big pots with marginal stuff. So flatting with aces lets you play smaller pots with all these marginal hands. Whereas a lot of people facing a raise, they would just look at a reshove chart and just rip it all in with their jack 10 suited thinking it's plus EV. But remember, just because a play is plus EV does not mean it is the most profitable play. It is not the play that will lead to the most profit long term. I'm not sure exactly what a reshove chart would say I could shove here, but it would be tighter than this. And that essentially means that you get to play fewer hands than the actual GTO strategy. So whenever you are using charts, make sure you're using the right charts. There are a bunch of apps out there now where they display either all-in or fold ranges. But realize here, the GTO strategy is actually to call with, 67-ish% of the hands that you're going to play. So if you're using a reshove or fold chart, you are messing up badly here. So anyway, to protect the calling range, you need to call the aces. Let's take a look at some common questions. Why would you flat knowing the blinds have a better price to call? Like I said, they're just going to be in really, really bad shape. Like if they want to call with garbage, fine. They're welcome to call with the 10-4 offsuit, and sometimes they're going to get me, right? And if they have a squeeze hand, they're still going to squeeze, thinking that my money is going to be at least somewhat dead, because a lot of people, when they do flat in my spot, are just always dead, right? So that's fine. Isn't it bad to have this go multi-way? No! Let's pull up Equilab real quick. This is a free program you can download. Let's give us aces, and then just straight for simplicity, let's just give the initial raiser, 20% of hands, and let's give the small blind, 30% of hands, let's give the big blind 60% of hands. Purely hypothetical, doesn't really matter. I want to show you here. Aces win 64% of the time against this. Now, this is not exact because sometimes when you get it all in, you are going to be behind. But with a hand like aces, especially shallow stacked, it's not really that big of a concern, right? So notice here, we're putting in 25% of the money. Actually, a little bit less because there's an ante. And we get back 64% of it. That's just a gigantic overlay. However, if we had a hand like jacks, though, I want to show you, that starts to become a lot worse, which is why you'd rather re-raise the jacks. What if we have ace-king offsuit? Same story, right? It's not as profitable, and at that point, you don't really mind these players folding out. So as your hand gets a little bit weaker, you need to be more inclined to re-raise. But aces definitely does not mind flatting when you're shallow. Would you have 3-bet if there was another caller before you? Yes, because then if there's a caller, so a raise and a caller before me, the caller then actually has something pretty decent a lot of the time. And at that point, there's more money in the pot to attempt to win, right? Just facing a 2 big blind min raise, there's really just not a whole lot of money in the pot. Oops. Did ICM play a factor in my decision? No, not at all. This tournament actually has a really funky structure where they added 20 seats on top of the prize pool. Party Poker is doing a lot to get players in their tournaments. So this is a $1,000 buy-in tournament, $1 million guaranteed. So they had to get 1,000 people, which they barely did. And on top of that, they added 20 seats to the prize pool. So first through 20th place all get a $10,000 buy-in seat to the main event. And this is when there were 40 people left. We were already well on the money. So funny enough, 20th place and higher get that extra 10,000, right? And 20th place, in terms of the actual dollars, is only like $6,000 or something like that. So 20th is 16,000 effectively. 21st is 6,000 effectively. So there's actually a really big bubble there, which means you kind of want to make sure you have some chips going into that point. So it's actually where we are right now. There's 25 players remaining, and I have right at average. It's a pretty good spot to be in. I'm not going to say I have this seat locked up, but I'm going to try my best to not bubble, that's for sure. Well, bubble, I'm going to try to get the $10,000 seat. But you need to have at least 30-ish million at this point to have a decent shot of collecting it. Somewhat risk-free. It's never totally risk-free, but somewhat risk-free. And at this point, like I said, I only had 12 million chips, so we have to make something happen. So anyway, don't be afraid to flat with the aces. As you see, GTO Strategy has flatting it sometimes or 3-betting it small. Either play I think is fine, but I definitely do lean towards flatting in tournaments because I really like flatting all these. I probably do a little bit more 3-betting with the offsuit hands, by the way. Like Ace-10 offsuit, I just always 3-bet. King-Jack, I'm probably always 3-betting offsuits. And then I'm flatting a lot of this type of stuff, just in general. So, slightly different strategy I'm using in tournaments, but close enough. All right, so, like I said, I am giving away 1% of all of my action at the Party Poker Millions UK. You can get in that giveaway at pokercoaching.com/giveaway. There'll be a link right below this video, so make sure you get involved in that. We've done a lot of giveaways in the past. We've given away all sorts of stuff, and, well, here's one that's already in the money, so hopefully you get in there and collect it. If you enjoyed this video, if you like this type of strategy content, click like, click subscribe, and share it with your friends. That goes a long way to letting me know that you actually enjoy this, because if, well, you don't enjoy it, I should probably just go to sleep instead of staying up late making this content for you. So click like and click subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Good luck in your games, and I will try to win the tournament tomorrow. First place is $150,000. We're currently guaranteed, I think, $5,500. And $150,000 is way more than that. So let's collect it.